the paper review on exam platform.
In Code and Java.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I will open. Okay. In today's class, we are going to see about suffix trees. This is also a form of creating index for your text data. Okay. So what is a suffix tree? So you can create a form of data structure that will help to identify the position of the text, and based on its position, it will be helpful for the string matching algorithm to identify the pattern in a very easiest way. Okay, that is the main advantage of using and building a suffix tree. Okay, so in case of a suffix tree, what we will usually process here in the suffix tree is, given a sequence of text data. Okay, see, this is going to be this text data. We will be creating the suffix for the text. So how to create a suffix for a text? For example, if I have a word like missing is going to be the word. So the suffixes are G, okay, ng, ing, okay, Sing. So this is how you have to create the suffix G, Ng, Ing, SSS, double S, Ing, Mising. Okay, so this is how you have to create a suffix tree. So how to convert this form of suffix text? Okay, suffix means a sequence of characters which are going to be a substring of the given text. That is called as a suffix tree. Okay. So how to create a suffix tree? For that, the concept, the prerequisite concept that you need to understand about suffix tree is suffix tries. Okay, this is going to be another data structure which is going to be the initial level of creating the suffix trees. Okay, this is also a form of tree, but before this trees, this trias has been used. Okay, so how to create the trias? It is also going to have some set of suffixes, and it will store it in a form of a tree, but instead here we will not say it as a tree, we will say it as a trias. Okay, so it will store all the set of strings, and it will form a initial level of trias, and based upon the trias we can create a compressed trias, so that you can easily search for a pattern from the given trias. For example, now if I want to search for bill, okay, this is going to be the search key I am going to look for. Okay, so I have BEAR. So this is also will come into the initial output, and at the final output, since it is encountering A over here, but my search is L, L to L will get will be matched over here, so this will be searched. So how this trias can be built? Okay, so BEAR, so there will be for every tire there will be a root node. Okay, which will not store any form of alphabet over here. This will be an empty root node. Okay, this is from here it will start its searching from the right or left. Even we can have several number of nodes for the root node. It doesn't mean it should be a binary tree. There is no such condition like that. Okay, so you see here BEAR. Okay, so initially we are getting BEAR, we are building BELL. So here BELL. So in this way you have to you have to build BID. Okay, and then BULL. Okay, and then STOP. Okay, and then STOCK. Okay, so in this way you have to initially build a suffix array, okay, for this. The worst case is, okay, while building the suffix tree, if there is some common words like this, okay, bill and beer have as common um, suffix subpatterns are there. Stock and stop, ST and ST in both the terms are being a common sub string which is available. In worst case, what will happen is if there is a set of words for which you're going to build this suffixed array, okay, where none of the words are getting matched, okay, which means the number of letters in all the strings which are available in my pattern, okay, in my word list are not the same, which doesn't have any match. That is going to be the worst case. Okay, see here BID. This is one form of path, and STOP. Is there any common terms over here in my list? No. This is how this suffixed array will go into your worst case. Okay, so we'll build a small suffix tree for a keyword minimize. Okay, E Z E I Z E M I Z E I M I Z E. So N I I N M I N I M I Z E. So this is going to be the suffixes that you have to initially derive, okay, from the given text. Okay. Now the next thing is you have to derive the suffix array. Okay, you're going to draw. You are going to build a suffix array, not the suffix tree. Suffix tree will be different. Okay. So initially, what is the thing? This is going to be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Initially for E, you build the tree. Okay. So this is going to be for the keyword 8. Okay. EZE. Okay. EZE. So this is going to be for the keyword 7. For the pattern that matches from 7. Okay. The next thing, this is going to be 8. This is going to be 7. Okay, and then IZE. Is there any matching pattern? No, nothing is there from here. Okay, IZE. You have to create it newly. Okay, IZE. This is for the pattern 6. Okay, and then MIZE. So there is no branch which is having with M. So I have to create newly MIZE. Initially you create it here, and this match pattern with 5. Okay, and then IMIZE. There is already I have created with I. Am I right? Already I have with I. So I and I matches. So from here, I have to go with IM. Okay, IMIZE. So this is going to be for the pattern. This is going to be with the index 4. Okay, and then NI, is there any term with NI? No, there is no term with like NI. So N I have to create newly. This is going to be for the index 3. The same way for INI, already I have I. So I will just build over here. In this path, it will get to 2. Okay. And then MI, already I have M. I have already I. So minimize will come and it will be stored here in the form of 1. This is with index. So I'll be giving index for each suffix tier. Okay. The next step is going to be the first step. So in order to optimize this suffix tier data structure, what I will do is I will perform the compression on those tiers. Okay. So E, okay, MIZE, I will just combine all these together to form MIZE. This together to form NIMIZE. So in this way, I will be compressing the tree. The next thing is, okay, I will be creating this in a form of vector. Okay, already I have this in the form of alphabets. Now I'm going to convert this into a vector form for easy retrieval. Okay, so E starts from 7 and it ends in 7. So this is for E. Okay, and then since we are starting from 0, we have started from 1 here, but now let's assume this it starts from 0. It can start either from 0 or 1. It's up to you. But usually in case of a data structure and array, when you're going to make use of, you can start your index from 0. Okay, and ZE, where ZE is available? ZE is available here. Sorry, ZE is available here. ZE is available here. It starts from 6 and it ends with 7. So 6, 7. So in this way, you have to give let me give it as give for IZE. I Z E. So I will come this from where it starts 5 comma 7. Okay, so it starts from I Z E. So I starts from 5, it ends with 5. Okay, and then Z E starts from 6 comma 7. So from 5 I have to come to this node to identify which term, to identify the term I Z E. So in this path I can find the word I Z E. Okay, so this is how we can do some matching over the text, okay, from the words that we are looking for using this tier architecture in a very easy way. Since we are converting this into a vector values, when we are doing search pattern on these suffix tiers, it will be easy to find out the result. Okay, so the next example we will see. Given a term banana, this is going to be the text that we are looking for. Usually in suffix trees, in order to denote the end of that particular sequence, we will be making a special character called as dollar symbol, which is appended at the end of the tier. This is the another advanced way you can represent the suffix tree. Okay, you see here banana, you derive all the suffixes and we have to build the suffix tree. Okay, so initially the value that we are going to look for is a. Okay, a is going to be the term. So a, okay, and after a, let me give the suffixes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is going to be the numbers I'm going to give for each letter in my given text. Okay, so initially 5. So 5 is the term that I'm going to look for. Okay, B-A-N-A-N-A. Okay, this is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So A is the term I'm looking for. This is going to be the root node. Okay, so from here, this advanced suffix tiers, how it will build is A. Okay, so we are going to create A over here. And after this A, we have to create a root node to denote that this is the end of that particular sequence. For 5, for this particular character, this is the starting and this is going to be the end to represent the end of the text. Okay, so you have to give a small index number where its position has to be given and it has to be substring, it has to be denoted by dollar, which means that this is the end of the particular sequence. But here in this previous example, we haven't give that end of the sequence. This is the initial naive way of representing a suffix tier, but formally, okay, when we are going to build any suffix trees, we have to, if we are going to implement the suffix trees at that time, manually, this is okay, but when you are going for implementation, you have to give this particular dollar symbol and you have to build a tree like this in order to make sure that this is going to be the end of the particular text that is given as input. Okay, and then NA. Okay, so if you want to search for NA, you see here. Okay, what we are going to do is there is no such term like NA. So what we will do is we will go in this way. Okay, and then we will give a small we will give a root for this, and that this is going to be the end of the particular sequence. NA, this is going to be the end. Okay, this is the this is for NA. Okay, for NA itself we are going to build a tree. This is actually a compressed one. There will be a term like N and after that A will be there. So it was been combined as NA. Don't get confused over here. Okay, so this is going to be for 4. Okay, then ANA. ANA. Is there any root node? From root we have ANA. No, we don't have ANA, but still we have A is here. Am I right? Because from 5 we have A. So you come through this way. Okay, and then you just build a node NA over here. Okay, and this is going to be the end of that ANA. ANA. Okay, so you give the to represent the end of that particular sequence, you give the index number for that and put a dollar symbol over there. Okay, so 3 is over, 3, 4, 5 is over. Okay, and NA. Is there any sequence that starts with NA? Yes, we have NA over here. So NA, and then you give an NA, you give another NA. Already this is going to be NA. It is entered. Here NA you have to give here, and then give the number. What is the number? 2. So you give the index as 2. Okay, and then ANA. Whether we have ANA, yes, we already have ANA is available. Now ANA. Okay, so ANA and NA. Okay, you give the index term and it has 1. Okay, and BANA. Whether we have such subsequence here? No, obviously we don't have such subsequence. So you create a new node like this, BANA, which is going to be with the index 0. Okay, so this is how you have to create the suffix tree for the text banana, where each substring has to be ended and terminated by a special character that is called as a dollar symbol. Okay, now if any substring or any pattern has been given over here, I have to check for whether the pattern NA is available in my text. How I can find it out, and how many times this particular pattern has been available in my text. This is going to be my pattern NA. I can find it out here. It has been found as through this particular node. I can say in fourth, in index number 4, this particular NA is available, and also in a pattern like here in the position 1 also, in the position 2 also. Okay, in the position 2 I have, and in the position 4 I have this NA. Okay, I have this NA. Okay, so this is how you can find this searching in the suffix triers. It's very easy and made very efficient through this suffix triers. Okay, you see this same example. Okay, the same example that we have given here, banana. Initially, this is going to be the standard trier. Okay, first A, and then ANA, and then NA and A, and ANA and A, BANA and A. So in this way, we have derived the compressed trier. Okay, the same as the previous, the same everything is available over here. Okay, instead of having this dollar symbol separately and we'll give the number and tell the dollar, they have given like this. This is also a way you can derive the compressed tree. And the next thing is you have to represent this particular trier in an architecture in a form like I comma j. So I is going to be the starting position where that particular substring and the character is getting started, and j is the position where the particular character is getting entered. Okay, banana, if you see over here, it starts from 0 6, so 0 comma 6. Okay, a, it starts from 1 comma 1, na 2 comma 3. Okay, and dollar 6 comma 6. So in this way you can perform the, you can represent the vector value representation of a compressed trier. Okay, so with this suffix tree is getting over, suffix triers is getting over. Give me a minute, I will just now we'll see about how a suffix tree can be created. Okay, how a suffix tree can be created. So what is a suffix tree? Okay, suffix tree is nothing but a compressed trier. Okay, suffix tree is actually a suffix tree is a compressed trier. Okay, of all the given suffixes in the string. Okay, so where the suffix tree will be helpful. Okay, if you want to identify some distinct substrings, and if your input text is having some substrings which are repeatedly occurring more than one time, okay, or there are some words which are being common. Okay, for example, boat. Okay, border. Okay, boy. Okay, and then board. Okay, and then some terms like this. I have some terms which have been having some similarity, this and this having some similarity, this and this having some similarity. Okay, or I do have the same way banana. Okay, ANA is available, AN and AN is available. Okay, so this type of substring which have some distinct substrings which are repeatedly occurring. At such cases, you can convert your text. Why we have to say, why we have to store this entire data in an array or in using some dictionaries or something like that. Instead, we can convert this into a compressed form using the suffix trees. Okay, so that is a form of creating a suffix tree. I will give you a small example how you can derive a suffix tree for a given text. Okay, my text is going to be C A G T C A G G. So this is going to be my um, text that I'm going to create a suffix tree. Okay, so this will be the same as that of suffix array. Okay, the only difference is we won't come up with the uncompressed array. Instead, we will go with the compressed array. Okay, I'll give the numbering for this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is going to be the text that I'm going to look for. Okay, so now how to create a suffix tree for a given text. Okay, so I will be as usual. I will be having a root node. Okay, so the initial suffix array is going to be G, 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 A, G, G, C, A, G, G, T, C, A, G, 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 T, C, A, G, G, A, G, T, C, A, G, G, and then C, A, G, T, C, A, G, G. Okay, so this is how you have to find out the suffixes for the entire text. Now, based on this, we are going to build the suffix tree. Okay. So initially, what is the term that is available? I have G. G is over here. Okay, I'll just give it as G. I have G over here. It is getting ended. It is available in the number 8. Okay, just for representation, I'm going to give. Okay, the next text substring suffix is G, G. I already have G. Am I right? So I'll be having another node. Okay, this is also going to be G. Okay, it is available in number 7. Okay, next substring is A, G, G. Okay. So where I can have AGG, I don't have AGG. Okay, instead what I will do is I will create a node separately for it. Okay, AGG, its number is 6. I'm giving the index for these numbers. Okay, it is available, its starting position is 6. Okay, just for our inference we are giving this. Finally we will give the index value. Okay, this is a compressed form of a text. Okay, the next substring is CAGG. Okay, CAGG. Either I have CAGG anywhere. No, I don't have CAGG. So I am creating a separate node for this. Okay, CAGG. Okay, it is getting started with 5. Okay, 5. Okay, and this is going to be the end of it. Okay. The next thing is TCAGG. Okay, TCAGG. Whether I have TCAGG, no, I don't have TCAGG. Okay, this is going to be TCAGG. Okay, it is going to be the end and it is available in number 4. Okay, and GTCAGG. Whether I have G anywhere? Yes, I have G here. See, here I have G. I have G. Am I right? So G, from here I can create a branch over here. I'll just create it over here. Okay. Just for the understanding, I'll write it here. Okay, this is going to be G T C A G G. Its number is, what is its number? Its number is 3. Okay, and then I have AGTC. Whether I have AG anywhere, yes, I have AG here, AGT, but AGG is there. So what I will do is I will divide this into two different branches. Okay, let the G come here. G, its number is 6. Okay, I'll remove this. Okay, AGG is here. I have AG TCAGG. This is for number 2. Okay, here I am having one node. Okay, so this is going to be AGG and AGTHGG. Okay, and then the next tree how I can create is CAG. Whether I have CAG anywhere, yes, I have CAG here. So what I will do is I will just remove this. Okay, and I will have G over here, its number is 5. Okay, CAG, what is the remaining thing? CAG, TCAGG. Okay, it's available in the position 1. Okay, so this is how we are going to create this particular suffix tree, but this is incomplete. Still I have to create it. Okay, so now what I will do here is I will just convert this here. Okay, this is going to be the final suffix tree. The same tree, let me give you this idea. Okay, so I have this particular tree. Okay, its substring is TCAGG. Okay, this is going to be the end of the tree. Okay, so I will give dollar symbol. Okay, and its index position is 4. Okay, and I have another subtree. Okay, what is this particular thing? CAG alone is there. Okay, I have two different things there. CAGG. Okay, uh, CAG is there. Along with G, I will put the dollar symbol. What is the position? The position is 5. The index position I give is 5. Okay, and I do have TCAGG, and after that, the end of the thing, what is its node? The node is CAGTSGG is 1. Okay, and then I have this node. Okay, G is here, G, and after G, is there any thing is there? This is the first thing, right? So I will give 8. Okay, this is going to be the end. Okay, and then the next thing is the next thing is TGTCAGG. The same thing, I'm just going to write it here. Okay, nothing, no difference over there. This is going to be the end of it. Okay, and another node is I do have AGG. I have G over here, which is ended. So this is the number I am going to give, the index 6. Okay, and I do have TCAGG. Okay, this is going to the end, its index is 2. So 1, 2, 3, where 4 is there, 4 is 4, 5, 6, 7, where is 7? 7 is available. G is here.
There should be GG.
Yes, yes.
There should be, yes, ma'am, that one.
Yes, there should be 7. G is there, and this is going to be the end. So 7, 3, 6, 2. Okay. So this is how you have to construct. This is construction of a suffix tree. The next the next part will be searching. Searching is very simple. Just like a brute force search technique, you can do the search. For example, if I have to search for a AG. AG, how many times AG has occurred? It has occurred, the substring has occurred two times. Okay, so you can search it over here in this place. You can find this AG. Okay, that is available in the position position initially in the position 2 it will be available. Okay, and in the position 6 also AG, here also we can find out the value of AG is available in the position 6. Okay, so in this way you can perform the suffix tree search using a simple brute force attack. Several pattern matching algorithms are also available. Okay, I will see one by one. for performing string search operation in a suffix trees. So this is how your text will be compressed. This is actually a compressed
Excuse
text which is in the form of a suffix tree. Yes, what? Yes.
Ma'am, when we search for AG, uh, nodes 2 and 6 will be taken, then node
Because
uh,
initially, see
be
here,
done.
yes, 2 and 6 will be taken. See here, A, where it is initially encountering A, anything is starting from A? No, it is not starting from A. Here only, here is the only, only node where I can look for A, G. Initially, A is the initial string which needs to get matched, right? So so the search control will come to this particular tree, and after this tree, it will find this is going to be the place where I can find AG, okay, and then it will this is going to have the index 2, right? So it will return A has recurred in 2. The next search pattern is AG. Along with this entire pattern, we have to search, right? AG, okay. So if it look into this particular a particular thing, okay, I have AG, G is there, but still in the same root itself, I can find the AG also. So obviously, it will find the result as this particular pattern AG has started from 2, okay, it is available, the search pattern is available, and then in the same node, G is also available, okay, AG is also going to get available, which is available in the position 6, okay. So in this way, it will find those AG, G. Okay, so this is for AG, and then initially here, yes, it obviously it will find out in the same node itself. That's not a problem. Okay, so in this particular thing also we have AG. So obviously the result will be 216. In this position 216, we can find out AG and AG pattern. Okay, the exact pattern initially it will check for the substring of the pattern, which is the initial match. That is the partial result, and the final result is AG. It is available in the position 2 and 6.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so now we'll go with the suffix tree applications. Okay, so I'm having a text, and this is going to be the pattern that I'm going to look for. Okay, AB. Okay, AB is going to be the pattern I'm looking for. So first step will be the control, the algorithm, the search algorithm will work down the path, okay, A comma B. So I have A, BA, ABA, AABA, and then BAABA, ABAABA. So this is your suffixes. Okay. From the suffixes, your search algorithm will walk down the path for AB. Okay. So it is finding A is here. So initially A is here is the only place where the first match is A. Other than this B, this is going to be the end of the string. So it is coming over here, and then it is finding B over here. So after A, B is going to be obtained here. Okay. So what the suffix tree will do is it will walk down the path until it is finding the exact number of matches, and the number of occurrences this particular match is being obtained. Okay. And the next step is it will initially walk down the path where the partial search is being matched, and it will not stop with that. It will walk down the remaining number of leaf nodes below, okay, and it will find out any other substring with the same search pattern is going to be available. Okay, so that is how your suffix tree will work, and its entire working time it takes is big O of n plus k. Okay, so k is nothing but the number of times that particular match AB is available in the given text. For example, if you look it over here, it is available AB is here, and then AB is also available here. So the number of matches is 2. Okay, and the n is going to be the number of steps. Okay, the degree that that particular tree has. What is the degree of this particular node? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the highest degree is going to be the path which is going by which that entire string is going to get completely available in the given tree. Okay, so this is the way how the search will be happening in the suffix tree, and the time it takes is going to be computed. This is another example. Okay, so now we'll go for how we can perform some sequential searching in a given text. Okay, so given a text, we have initially created the inverted index. Okay, inverted index we have created, and later we have seen about signature files. I think you can recall these concepts. And now we have seen about suffix trees, suffix triers also we have seen. Now we are going to see about how searching can be optimized in a given text. Okay, we have several algorithms are available. Brute force algorithm means just we have to search for all possible combinations of search over the pattern. And KMP is another searching, and then Boy-Morse algorithm is there. So for this, as per your syllabus is concerned, we are going to focus on these 3 algorithms. Okay. So brute force searching is nothing but all possible combinations of search pattern will be given. Just manually we will look into some pattern and we'll look for that results, right? In the same way, all combinations of search results will be taken into consideration and it will be searching. That is a brute force algorithm. And KMP is going to be, it will be making use of a special function so that it will traverse back the search string to match with the pattern. Okay, so this is going to be KMP algorithm. So given a text, okay, this is a text. Okay, this is a test text. Okay, so if you are looking for the pattern, this is the pattern that I am going to look for. This pattern is available here. Okay, if you're given a long string like this, I want to search for A, B, A, B, A. It is found in position 0, 9 and 12. Okay, so this form of complicated strings which have some substrings where the given text is going to be very long enough so that manually we cannot do that. At that time we can go for this KMP algorithm. Okay, so the input is going to be a text. Okay, and then a pattern will be given, and output will be the position where the pattern is available. Okay, so what is a KMP algorithm? Okay, this is a string matching algorithm. So its a notation is going to be big O of n. Okay, so the components is it will be having a prefix function. Okay, there will be a prefix function will be available, which will identify a pattern. Okay, it will identify the pattern which it encounters during the search. Okay, and if such pattern is going to occur, it will store it and it will match against that particular text by itself. Okay, it is out like a knowledgeable function. This is actually a knowledgeable function where the given text and the pattern, if it identifies some set of patterns, for example, A, B, C is the previous pattern which it matches. Okay, and if there is a matching pattern, the same ABC is available. This prefix function will have it will have the knowledge of already I have seen ABC here in the text which has already matches. Okay, here I have a match over here. I have CD over here. Now I am trying to match for EF. Okay, EF is going to be available. What this prefix function will do is already I have ABC. Now C and E is not matched. Am I right? A, B, C is matched, but C and E is not matched. Now what it will do is it will not search for the match for D and F. Instead, what it will do now, it will just shift this entire pattern, okay, to the place where the same pattern is available in the text. Where the same pattern is available, A, B, C is there now. So it will shift it to this particular place, A, B, C, to find out the pattern it is looking for, EF. For example, EF is going to be available over here. Okay, it will not search, it will avoid this particular search itself because it is unwanted. It is taking much of my time. Instead, what it will do is this prefix function will look for, already I have ABC which is matched. Now what I will do is I will look for whether ABC or AB, okay, any such pattern is going to be available. That is the idea behind this prefix function, which encapsulates knowledge on how the pattern matches against the shift of itself. Okay, so it is out like it will track in the forward manner. It will not backtrack your search. Okay, it will forward track your search result, so that if there are any pattern of ABC is available in this given text, in the forward manner, in the upcoming substrings, whether this pattern is available or not, so that my search can be very quicker. Okay, so this is KMP algorithms. This is very important function, which plays a key role in a KMP algorithm. I will just go straightly into this example. Okay, so this is the text I am going to given. This is going to be the pattern A, B, C. Okay, whether there is a match over here, here no match. Okay, so this will be shift this, so this entire pattern will shifted to one character, one position. Okay, so A and A position matches. Okay, next, so the next step is B and C position not matches. Okay, so what it will do means it will find out the place where the exact B can be matched. For example, if I have C, A, B over here, it will go and straightly shift here to B, not here. Okay, so now in this place, this and this is not get matched. So now what it will do is it will shift it to not one position, but the place where I can find the exact match for B. Okay, where I can get the exact match over here. Here also, unfortunately, we don't have a match. Okay, B and A is not matched. Okay, it is going to shift it not by one position but by two position, because I have to match it with the next set of pattern which is already matched. Okay, but no such matches are available here. So now here also no match. Now the shift is going to be sorry, I have pressed the wrong key. Now it will shift to here, one position. Okay, so A and A matches, B and B matches, A and A matches, B and B matches, A and A matches, but unfortunately B and C is not matching. Okay, so what it will do now, I'm just going to the wrong slide. Okay, now what it will do is B and B is getting matched, A and A is getting matched, B and B is getting matched, A and A is getting matched, but B and C is not matched. Okay, the same thing that I have given you. Okay, so now what it will do is it will exactly apply the apply this prefix function. Okay, what are all the places which has been already matched? A, B, A, B, A. It will look for a match. It will look for a substring where this matched pattern exists in the given string, but in the forward direction, not in the reverse direction, because already we have disappointing matches over here. So it will look for a positive matches in the forward direction. So is there any string like this? I can find it over like here. Am I right? A, B, A, B, A. This will match with this. So what it will do means it will shift this entire. This is how the prefix function will work. Is there any matching substring which is available in the forward direction? Okay, which will match exactly with the previously matched substring, in order to avoid the time. If there is a string like A, B alone is available, means okay, that is also accepted. The partial result is accepted, but still I have to move forward in order to find the match. If I can't find such match, means that means what? A particular pattern is not available in my text. Okay, so this match, this is going to be matched. There is a substring which is available in my given text, but in the forward direction. If I look into the forward direction of my text, next to consecutive terms, I can find that substring as that of the substring which is previously matched here. This is the match which I got here. The same substring is available in the consecutive steps. Okay, Instead of doing the consecutive steps, this prefix function will run its code separately in order to determine the substring, which I can positively look in the next consecutive thing. Okay. Okay, I can understand. Time is over. We will see this the same algorithm again in the next class. Okay. So I will open your answer scripts seeing in Codetandra. Okay. Thank you, students. Just type in a register number and you can leave the class. Have a great week. Bye.